Hey, welcome back. My name is Tahtianna, and I am here to share with you just one tidbit of what helped me along my journey. So, with the previous video, I stated that I shared with you guys some lessons that I learned from a recent date, some things that had come back up to the surface. But before I jumped back onto the dating scene, what I had done, not immediately intentionally, but I went through a process of healing. And not to say that my healing is complete because it isn't, but there were some things that I needed to address that I knew that if I immediately jumped into another relationship, I would not only be hurting myself, but the other person involved. And so, yeah, let's jump into that because that can look like a whole lot of things. I think there are some individuals who have a really hard time um, not being with someone, not being in a relationship, an intimate relationship, or a romantic relationship. One, because it's like you might not have enough to do. You might have some hobbies that you've dropped along the way. You may feel like you don't really have any friends. And so jumping from relationship to relationship to relationship is really running away from a void or some type of issue that you might not want to address yet. And I'm not going to say unfortunate, but when we run and we're just filling the void with things and stuff that are very temporary, it's just going to keep coming back up. Issues that we're trying to avoid are going to continue to come back up to the surface, no matter what the environment or the situation may be. And this is why sometimes, not all the time, but sometimes you may find yourself interacting with people who you feel have the same personality. There's the same type of issues coming up in certain types of relationships, you know, because it's something that we haven't necessarily dealt with yet. And be mindful, there are also times when the situation can come up and it's almost like a test so that you can prove to yourself that you have outgrown it. You have overcome it or you can overcome it now. This doesn't have to overpower you anymore. So there's moments like that too. But there's a thing of running and running and running to people who is not even your source of life to in attempts to fill you, in attempts to make you feel happy. And that it's not going to last very long and it won't be beneficial for the other person either. Something else I had learned is operating outside the time that whatever the thing is meant for, you may have probably grabbed it too soon. So let's say you feel like you are dating the one right now, and maybe y'all have started moving a little too fast. Y'all are out of time with the process. You and or the other person may still need some stuff worked out of you before you get to a place where you guys can succeed together. Just things that we tend to avoid because it makes us feel uncomfortable on so many different levels. But when you think about it, you can almost call it a little bit selfish. I know. Sorry, y'all. You can call it a little bit selfish to bring somebody into your mess and expect them to either clean it up for you or to do most of the heavy lifting. That's not right. It's not right. And so we get to do our due diligence to take a moment or moments to reflect on what has been coming up for me. What do I keep hearing that I need to work on? What is some of the feedback that I'm getting? What am I running from? What am I hiding from? What am I scared to feel? And some people feel like some people may feel like If they are alone, then the worst will happen. And sometimes that is our thoughts being led by fear, which can lead us to thinking about catastrophes, which is the worst case scenario. And it may not be your reality. You're just being led by fear. Yes, mishaps happen, scary things happen, but sometimes we over exaggerate those things. Something else that I feel like we miss out on because we want to rush into companionship is we miss out on discovering other parts of ourselves. We miss out on living life. We miss out on experiencing friendships, new friendships, or just, you know, developing all of these connections outside of, just our routine day to day lives. There's so much more out there, healing, learning to rejoice, learning to have peace when things are turbulent all around you. Those are just a few things to list. We don't have to have a physical body be in our life for us to have joy. And some of you may have already experienced having a person next to you, but still feeling empty on the inside. It's because there are some unaddressed things there. There's an unaddressed need. There's an unaddressed wound. There's a place where there's a cry for nurturing, for love. And we don't have to run anymore. We don't have to run anymore. Because this is truly a time for healing to take place, deeper development, even if you have to go back to the basics or very foundational things of your life. Address it. Because at the foundation, if you can get that settled, get that cleaned up, get the foundational tools and skills, then you can build something solid on top of that. But when we try to build on top of a shaky foundation, one of the most terrible things is getting to a place where you feel like you've reached success or the pinnacle goal or achievement in your life. And the smallest thing comes and knocks that thing over because the foundation was not stable. And it's been something that's been neglected for years, months, however long. If you are someone that is even still single and you feel the rush to jump into somebody's arms or to be saved or rescued, this is your cue to know that you have the permission to slow down. Not to stop, to slow down. Take a break, take a breath, and really take inventory of your life right now and where you want to go, and the person that you want to be, and the person you've been called to be. Because if you don't know who you are and some of the things that you are called to do in this life, how can you really know when you've connected with the person that's for you? Of course, you have many options. But if you're someone that's also a builder and a visionary, you want to do this with intention. Because we don't want to just be linking with anybody out here, right? I don't, for sure. Because we've done that enough, right? We've done it enough. And so we get to mature now. And maturing also means looking at the things that we didn't do right. And maturing also means trying to do better this time, actually doing better, getting those skills up. And you don't have to shame yourself or condemn yourself in the process. This is about learning and growing, outgrowing some things that you've learned before, unlearning. It's a process, it's a journey. What are you running from? So, in some spaces, learn to be comfortable with yourself, not just being by yourself. Learn to be comfortable with yourself so that you can thrive in any space that you're put into. You can learn to regulate your emotions and yourself more and better. And you will show up that much greater in the next relationship that you get into, because you have developed a more improved, more intentional, and self-aware relationship with yourself. Not expecting for someone else to do the work for you. You will have done the work. And that, my friend, will make so much of a difference. So much of a difference. You won't be perfect, but you are being perfected along the way. So even when that person comes along or you two are joined together, you may not respond like you did before and be erratic and start arguments for no reason. If they're out of line, you might not just meet them where they're at and start lashing out at them. The work that you will do helps you in the process, showing up better, being a better partner, being a better friend, being more kind to yourself, because you will be loving others as you love yourself. And so let that be, and let this short, brief, conversation sort of thing help you in your journey, to remind you that you don't have to jump from body to body to be whole. You get to do the work and be whole as you're perfected along the way. All right, until next time. See you then.